It's loading. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. Motion Blue version 6. Something we never thought was going to happen. Although I've always had an idea that it would come out. And I've known about this for a little over a week now. David Marty did a great job on Motion Blue version 6. I'm going to show you some killer things about it in just a moment. But shout out to David Marty for doing this. We just had Project HyperPie released, and now Motion Blue 6 is here. And you might be wondering, that's kind of weird. They're kind of the same, aren't they? Why? What's going on? What's going on? So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Now, as I mentioned, I've already had about a week to play with this. So I've already changed, the default theme here to Magazine Madness. I'm actually going to go back to Hursty Blue, which is what this boots up in. And this is a 200 gigabyte image that I made. All I did was I got some ROM packs and I started throwing them on to a clean version of Motion Blue version 6. So I just built this myself. It's very easy to do. And we're going to go ahead and check this out. What's up, Retro Junkie? What's up, Josh? What's up, Ryan? What's up, Detroit Retro Gamer? I will be dropping a video on how to build this base image and some of the features and things you have to do. As you saw, we already skipped adding a controller. I already have my F710 on this particular image. Now, just so you know what kind of image I'm rocking, all games, it's 200 gigabyte. I'm using all but 10 gigabytes. I think it's a total of 180 usable gigs, and I think I got 170 gigs worth of games. So I have 17,262 games on here. I started messing with collections. I added a Metal Slug collection, which has all the Metal Slugs, for example. As you can see, it has a JPEG and then video art in Emulation Station. Really cool stuff. ZX Spectrum, I have all the games here, 1,112. You go in, there's your games. We also have Infocom, 30, WonderSwan Color, 88. These video snaps should be working. There you go. All the artwork, all the video snaps. WonderSwan, 109, Virtual Boy, Odyssey, Vectrix, TurboGrafx 16, 94, CD. I don't know if I have any, do I? Okay, 47. I got a bunch of those on there. So this is running the Hursty Blue theme, stock. Super Graphics, Super Nintendo, SG-1000, Sega CD, 32X. I don't think I have much Scum VM. PlayStation, I only added a few. PlayStation Minis, I added most of them. PSP 3, PC Engine, I added them all. The other thing I added was I added all the Nintendo DS, which is a lot of bloatware. I could have got rid of a lot here. 760, 1064, all of them, 303. MSX1, 2, Japanese Mega Drive. I've switched Sega Mega Drive to Genesis. I'll show you that in just a second. And MAME. Oh, again, these aren't loading because I didn't boot up the Pi properly. I have to restart after I change the theme. Or it's my VRAM, one or the other. Yeah, it's tripping out on us. We need to reset. I'm going to change that theme. Okay. Let's just restart really quick because I had to change the theme from Magazine Madness back over. So what's so cool about HyperPie, not HyperPie, but Motion Blue version 6 compared to HyperPie? The biggest deal here is, first they fixed from Motion Blue version 5. It used to be super slow to boot up. And now, as you can see, it's super fast. The old Motion Blue would take me over 2 minutes, and now it's under a minute to boot this up. The other thing is, I'm going to show you in just a moment, all the scripts installed on this thing make it so, this is the key selling point here. 1, it's free. 2, once you have your controller set up, you literally do not need a keyboard ever when you're building this image. You can literally drag and drop your ROMs or put them on a thumb drive, put them in. Once your ROMs are on there, you might need a keyboard to do your Dreamcast controls, and then after that, you are done. Everything could be done with your gaming controller, and that is kind of a big deal. So really nice to see that. Hey, Grant. What's up, dude? What's up, everyone? MLP beat you. No, he did not. I actually have a video already done, and I'll be posting that 2 hours after this video. and that shows you exactly me setting up this image that we're playing on right now. Okay, so now it should be fixed. Yeah, see, now it's all working. Okay, remember it was white screen a second ago. That's because I changed the theme without restarting. I added Daphne, I added Dreamcast. Fun fact about Dreamcast, that there was a Half-Life mod released for Dreamcast. From my understanding, it was never officially released, maybe not. And then there was like a Half-Life Gold edition released. Just so you know, they do not work, from what I've heard, at all. Not on a computer, not on a Pi as well. I think you have to get it. It only works for the Dreamcast or something. I don't know. I tried to get it to work. I downloaded like 10 different ROMs of this Half-Life game. None of them would load. Now, as far as my other games like Power Stone, it should load. So what I've done so far in this image, I have set up my custom launch screens, as you just saw right there. And I've also installed bezels. The bezels don't work on Dreamcast, though. But I just want to show you that I set up Dreamcast, I set up my Rycast controls. It was that easy. And there you go. You're in your Dreamcast. So we already got Dreamcast working, which is nice to see. So anyways, what I was saying was I will be dropping another video letting you know exactly how I built this image. So you can literally go online, download Motion Blue 6, drop in your ROMs, add your bezels, and you can have this whole thing set up within a couple hours. The reason why it takes hours, honestly, the longest part, so there you go, Power Stone, working no problem. The reason why it takes a couple hours is transferring all those ROMs. You know, it's just the drag and drop. Once the ROMs are transferred, it was really nothing, really easy to do. And as you can see, it's running really well. I am overclocked at this point. I overclocked to 1.3 because I wanted to play Dreamcast. So this is an overclocked image. Please show the ROMs part. Yes, the ROMs part will be in a separate video, but basically you just transfer over your BIOS files first. And there's BIOS packs on Arcade Punks now, on a couple other websites. And you transfer that over, and then you transfer over your ROMs. If you have ROM packs with the artwork in there, I don't know if you know where I am. Okay, so then we start select out. Start select is your hotkey. I didn't transfer over the artwork for Dreamcast because I was just trying out a few different games. So now I want to show you what makes this so cool. Okay, you see what I got here is you go over to the RetroPie menu, and I want to show you track mode too. It's really cool. This is what makes this amazing, is all these scripts. So first off, background music script. We're seeing this with a lot more pre-built images now, but what you do is I could just click into here, and actually I think you do need a keyboard for this part. So if you do want to add or remove, actually let's see if I could do it. Okay, no, I could do it. So I don't need it. That's what it's so cool about it, is I was thinking of another image that takes you to command line. This one doesn't take you to command line. It's all built into the RetroPie, so I can control this with my controller. This screen on other images, you'd have to use a keyboard. So I can enable or disable my background music really easily. Now, I do want to let you know that this image does come pre-installed with one, I don't know, maybe more background music. I have mine disabled right now. If you want to add more background music, it's just like transferring ROMs. You add it to the music directory. Now you can change your collections. So remember, you have like Batman collections, Mega Man collection, Castlevania collections. You could do that all through this list generator right here. It generates those collections lists for you. So I could do all these different collections really easily. So let's try CPS1. We're going to go ahead and add CPS1. And what you do is you just do this, and now it went ahead and curated all those CPS1 games. The other thing you have to do, though, is you have to go into game collection settings, and then you do have to add them. Automatic, no, we don't want that. I think we have to restart, but you can add, oh, there it is. Let's see if this is it. It's loading now. We got to let this load. But anyways, you can add custom themes to Emulation Station really, really, really easily. I think we just loaded a Final Burn Alpha game from CPS. So let's go ahead and get out of here. And what you're seeing now, we're getting ahead of ourselves though, is look at these custom bezels. This is a feature that you can turn on with Motion Blue version 6, which is custom bezels. Okay, so there you are. I just added CPS1 collection to my Motion Blue version 6. It was that easy. Where to get Gorilla Glue theme? I don't know about that theme. So that's how you add that. Okay, so we added collections. Let's go back to Emulation Station, or the RetroPie setup for Emulation Station. And I want to show you what else you can do here. Game list utility. So adding, removing games in different systems, super easy to do. This is standard. GPIO safe shutdown. This is on other images, easy to do. Media removal tool. This is for removing like video snaps and things like that of games you're not using, things like that. It's really going to be helpful if you're not putting the full collections of certain systems. For example, you're not putting all 700 SNES games. You can remove media, things like that. Super helpful. Bezels. Check this out. Check this out. Again, no keyboard required. We go in here, and he has bezel packs available to download. So if I remember this right, Bezel Pack 1 is Motion Blue bezels. It has Motion Blue themed bezels on it. Pack number 2 is game-specific consoles, like consoles and things like that. And then Pack 3 is like a simple design, something like that. I might be getting this wrong. But you have 3 different options for the type of bezels you want. I believe I'm on Bezel Pack 2 right now. Let's just go ahead and do Bezel Pack 2. Let's enable that. And then that last option while this is processing is the optional game pack. And that was, for example, on 1941, 1942, that arcade game. You get custom bezels for those specific games. So I think it's for MAME and Final Burn Alpha. There's custom bezels for those systems, which is game specific. It's not system specific, it is game specific. So that's pretty cool. That's really cool. So we're adding the Bezel Pack 2. You can only have one bezel pack installed at a time, so you have to choose between the 3. But you could switch between the 3 this easily. You know, I think this shouldn't take much longer. The process is fairly simple. You just enable the bezel pack, and then it should be good to go. It may require a reboot, though, so we'll get there in a second. I need help. I got HyperPie Vision 2 PCA at the ROMs, but it doesn't show up in there. That's probably a pathing thing, and if you watch my video on that, you need to make sure that the drive where your ROMs are is the same where Emulation Station is looking. All right, so let's just do Sega CD, for example. Batman Returns. We just want to check out these bezels. Bezel Pack 2. So here's loading screens. We can also change these out just like we changed out the bezels with their own custom script. But here are the bezels here. It should show up in just a moment once this game loads. Okay, no, this game's not working. What? All right, let's try a different system. Second 32X. Afterburners. I don't know what was up with that. That CD was taking forever to load. Yeah, exactly. Joe has it right. You have to do it on your H drive like I explained in the video. Change your path. Okay, so this is Bezel Pack 2. Which I like the best. Bezel Pack 2 is one of my favorites. There's also Bezel Pack 1 and Bezel Pack 3. Bezel Pack 1, I'm not a big fan of. It's like Motion Blue. So it's just like the same thing we're seeing in the Emulation Station. Let's try 3 though. It's just like the Motion Blue with the dots. The same thing you see in Emulation Station. That's what it is. Fairly simple. So we're going to check out the other Bezel Pack. You can also do the same kind of, look at how easy this is. It's just go in there, click it, you're done. We're also going to show you the loading screens. Similar process. You go in, there's a script for you, there's a menu. You can do it all with your controller. You don't need an air mouse. You don't need a keyboard. Look how easy that is. So I do have my optional enable game console bezels. I have that enabled as well right now. I did install that. So let's go back to Sega 32X. And we'll do Afterburner again. And I believe this should work. We might have to restart to enable the new bezel pack, but I think it should just be automatic. Bezels suck. So you could totally just disable all the bezels if you want. Okay, so you see the difference? That Bezel Pack 2, you kind of see the system. There's a little more coloration. Bezel Pack 3 is still system specific, but it's just very, very general, not blingy at all. Okay, so there's your bezels. You know, okay, you hate bezels. Okay, let's just take that. Somebody in chat just said, I hate bezels. That's fine. Guess what? Bezels aren't installed at all when you first get Motion Blue version 6. So you basically don't have to do anything. But let's say somebody gives you a pre-installed Motion Blue version 6 and it has bezels installed. Rather than finding it all you do is you just hide all your system bezels. That easy. There's a script for you to hide them. If you want them on certain systems but not other systems, you can disable it on some systems and enable it on other systems. It's that easy. There you go. Really cool. So RetroPie reference is really interesting. I put this in my other video, but basically it's basically like a help center for different emulators and front end. So it's kind of like a FAQ section, if you will, frequently asked questions for your Raspberry Pi, for basically RetroPie. Splash screens, this is pretty standard. This is what I like though, Switch Genesis Mega Drive. So for those of you in the US, we know it as Sega Genesis. For those of you in the UK, you know it as Sega Mega Drive. With this click of a button, it switches from Mega Drive to Genesis, just like that. Just like that. The other thing I haven't showed you yet is launching screens. Launching screens are those screens you see between clicking the game and when the game finally loads up. And you can install all sorts of launching screens. You could download them as well. There's a whole thing where you can download all these different launching screens. And this is what's so cool about all this, is if David Marty or someone else adds new launching screens, all you have to do is update the scripts and it will update this list. So as new launching screens packs come out, it's that easy to switch them up. So I've already installed Hursty Blue, Motion Blue, and the Clean Look. Let's go ahead and install Luminous, for example. I'm not on the internet, though. I actually can't. I'm not online right now, and I don't know where my LAN cable is. But I would just click that, and it would go ahead and download, and then I can go to install and install some. So we are on Clean Look. So let's go ahead and switch to Comic Book. Oh, it's not working right now. I don't have it installed. We're on Clean Look, though. So I think I need to update that, and I don't have the internet right now. But I could switch out. Actually, I guess maybe I could do. We should be able to do Hursty Blue, just so you could see what it looks like between the difference. Install. I believe Motion Blue should work. No, it's not working. Okay, typically it would work. Oh, geez. See, this is what happens when you're not connected on the internet and you start trying to install stuff. Okay, but I can tell you right now it works because I switched from when I first booted the image. It comes with the Motion Blue launching screens, and I installed Clean Look, and I downloaded it and then I installed it. So it works just fine. Trust. Good morning, Nevo. Good morning, Scratch. What's up, guys? Loving the scripts. Yeah, the scripts are legit. This is what I hoped HyperPie would have done, but they didn't do it. While this is booting up, the next thing I'm going to do for this video, so you've seen Emulation Station and all the things it could do. I played a game for you, showed you the bezels, launching screens. That's all cool, right? Great. We're going to switch into track mode here in a second. Something I would like to touch on, though, is HyperPie versus Motion Blue. Now, let's start with some pros for HyperPie. I'm not just going to shit all over HyperPie. Like, they definitely have some cool stuff. It's way more blingy, HyperPie is. And I would say, actually, to me, one of the biggest differentiators on HyperPie is all those new modes in a track mode. The grid view, the horizontal view, the vertical view. That is really cool. The other thing, Motion Blue is only for the Pi 3 for now. You could probably port it over, but it's for Pi 3. So HyperPie does have some things that Motion Blue doesn't. But that being said, what I was most excited for about Motion Blue was those scripts. as you could see, a total newbie can pick this image up and start building on it. Super, 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 super easy. It's as easy as it gets. Not ever, but what we have right now. So I'm switching over to a track mode. And so it really opens the doors for a lot of people. If you look at my YouTube channel, you look at like comments, some of the most common questions: how do I remove these bezels? How do I expand my file system? Those questions are the ones I get by far the most. And so for David Marty to listen to those people and to make these changes, make the scripts for them really, 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 really simple. Another example is the RetroPie reference I showed you just a moment ago. It references, like, for example, if I'm going to add Super Nintendo ROMs and I'm on the internet and I'm wondering, well, what kind of file do I need for my ROMs? Do I need a .sfc, a .zip? What kind of ROMs? Or when it comes to like Dreamcast, do I need an ISO file or a .chd file? Like, there's different compressions and things like that. So so because of those different compressions and things, people get confused and then they drag them over and then they don't work. So it's just so simple. And that's where I think the biggest selling point is on Motion Blue version 6. The actual visuals, I'm not a super big fan of. I think they're very clean and simple and fine. But the great thing about it as well is you can change between themes, both in Emulation Station and in a track mode. So here we are in a track mode. And the first thing you might notice is that no longer does it say a track mode setup. Instead, he changed it to just say RetroPie. And what's cool about that is now, rather than having RetroPie set up in Emulation Station and then having a track mode set up in a track mode, they just call them both RetroPie. So it keeps that kind of universal and doesn't get people confused of like, oh, what do you mean? Why am I in track mode? Why am I in Emulation Station? It kind of keeps it universal. So that was really cool. And as you can see, when I click in here, all those same scripts that were so helpful to us in Emulation Station are all accessible here in a track mode as well. For example, RetroPie reference is here. It was in Emulation Station. RetroPie setup is here. RetroArch, the Bezel overlay script, you can access it in a track mode as well. Now you might be wondering, do I have to set up my bezels in Emulation Station and a track mode? No, it should be global, meaning anything you do in Emulation Station should move over to a track mode as far as in-game experience. The front end, though, is a little different, the way the games look through here. So anyways, I'm just going to go through this. We already went through all these. But it has the track mode system utility, a track mode wheel, and a track mode themes. You can change all that stuff out, but you still get the same options that you had in the Emulation Station. So that, to me, is a big deal. Now, as far as these system menus, you could set up your track mode a number of ways. But the way I have it set up is a nested systems right now. So basically nested meaning that there's multiple tiers or folders, if you will. So when I go into consoles, I don't want to do that. When I go into consoles, I should then have my consoles. If I go back and I go to computers, I should have all my computer systems there. Let's go to computers here. I don't have any computer installed. When I go to arcades, I don't have any arcades installed. Oh, okay, here we go. Collections. I have my Batman collection installed. When I go to handhelds, I have my PSP Minis, my Atari Lynx, my Nintendo DS. Now, something you should know right off the bat is that Motion Blue, HyperPie does this where it just shows you all the systems. You can go to all displays and you see all displays. Motion Blue is the complete opposite of that. You have to enable every display that you want. So right now I've enabled Game Boy Advance, PSP Minis, Lynx, Nintendo DS, and Game Boy Advance. But I have way more handhelds installed on this image. I have Game Boy Color, Game Gear. So in order to add these to the list, I actually have to go back and go to RetroPie and then go to my setup, and I have to add those in. So I think it's display utility. And so remember, I'm in the nested system. I want to show a display. Handhelds. And remember, I didn't have Game Boy Color, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on Game Boy Color. And then go back, and I want to add Sega Game Gear. Remember, we didn't have these shown before, handhelds. Let's also add regular Game Boy. And let's go ahead and add Virtual Boy. and let's do Game & Watch. So we'll have all our Nintendo handhelds installed. Okay? So now, when we exit, and we go back to a track mode, and we go to handhelds this time, we're going to have all of our handhelds. So we go back one more. Now we're going to go to handhelds, remember? Remember before we didn't see Game Boy, we didn't see Game Boy Color, we didn't see Virtual Boy. But now when we go to handhelds, we have Game & Watch, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Virtual Boy. We added all those systems to it. So when you want to add collections systems, you just have to turn them on. As long as your ROMs are there and everything else, they'll be just fine. So for example, PSP Minis, we go in, we're going to have to play my favorite game here, 3, 2, 1, Super Crash. We click in and the game loads. As you can see, my launching screens, I did switch my launching screens. Okay, it was just installing. So you can see that I switched my launching screens from clean to the motion blue launching screens. Okay, I don't have bezels installed for PSP. Let's go ahead and load this up. So many ROMs, so little time. So I actually let's load my game here. I'm loading my game because yesterday I was playing this game and I got to level 2. So let's play level 2, okay? So I just loaded my ROM, or loaded my state. It's select and upper left to load my state. Let's go ahead and see. I've never played this level before. Let's see how we do in the country. All right. Here we go. So we're doing good. We're doing good. As I mentioned, I already pre-recorded a video of how to set this all up. I'm just giving you a quick overview of everything. First look, if you will. And all right, here we go, peep. We got the unicycle. We're gonna go. All right. But in a couple hours, I will drop the video on how to set it all up. And in the meantime, you can download you could go to David Marty's channel. He has the download available there. I believe it's, what can I do? Can I hit the cow? Okay. I believe that it's faster. Okay, let's go. Okay, what does this do? Do you have to jump? Oh! I've never jumped in this game before. I didn't know that they even could jump. Okay, we need to try that over. You could download that there. It should be easy to get to. And start downloading it and just transferring over your BIOS and your ROMs. And you can kind of play with it. But some things that I had to do was transfer the BIOS, transfer over the ROMs. If you are going to have Dreamcast, you need to set up your Dreamcast controls in Rycast. When you first boot up, you'll be able to just configure your main controller. Those controls will work for pretty much the majority of the systems. Okay, I need to know what jump is. Okay, jump is X. Okay, so we're going to beat this really quick. And once you get that all set up, you can start messing with bezels, background music, all sorts of stuff. All right, here we go. We got the jump. Yeah. All right, we got jumps. Oh my, okay. I mixed jump with my upper button there. Okay, so we go back, we can go to consoles. Here's all our consoles. In consoles, we click, we got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega CD. Let's just try a Super Nintendo, for example. Beautiful track mode. Click it in there. Ouch! What size is this? This is a 200 gigabyte micro SD card. I was able to fit 1,700 games on it. So here we are. We're on Bezel Pack 3, as you can see here. And really cool stuff. Cool. So there's a gas button somewhere in this game. Okay, there you go. Oh, the steering's kind of weird in this game. Oh, we had a pile up. People spinning all over the place. Start select out. We're back into a track mode. If we wanted to, whoops. Yeah, that actually is what I want to do. So really easy to get back to shut down or just go back into Emulation Station, that's all here in the RetroPie. Click that over, move on over. If you want to install themes, easy to do. Just go to Emulation Station Themes, download the new themes, install them, ready to go. How much space does Motion Blue itself use up? I believe it's something like 13 gigabytes or so. I want to say about 13. Don't hold me to that though, but it's something like that. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for my keyboard. Where is my keyboard? There's one part of it. Here it is. The download itself is, let me put in my hard drive here. The download itself is a little less than that. I think it's like 8 or 9 gigabytes before it's extracted. Yeah, that's unzipped. All right, and then after that, you would be in Emulation Station. You can add your themes, anything like that. You can switch between these themes by hitting Start. You can overclock this if you want. It's not necessary though. Something I like about HyperPie that I like compared to HyperPie is the front end isn't as intensive on the processor. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about that and overclocking. You don't need it. I just overclocked for Dreamcast. So there you have it. I'm gonna, like I said, I've already made a video how to set this up from start to finish. That video will be posted soon. The reason for this video is just to give you a quick look and what exactly it's all about. If you watch my other video, I'll just go ahead and do a spoiler for you. I gave it an A. I mean, I really like this. I think you're gonna see a lot of loaded images on this. If it was between setting up a 200 gig or 256 gigabyte image between HyperPie and Motion Blue, I would pick probably Motion Blue because it's really gorgeous and the attract mode is awesome. You can customize all of that, and it's very optimized. You know, I think where HyperPie excels in kind of bling bling, it also decels with the speed. If we were comparing HyperPie to Motion Blue on a PC, that's a whole different arena. That's where these two, it would be a really hard choice for me. But on a Pi 3, Raspberry Pi 3, and how fast and the lagginess and everything and the kind of the smooth, I for sure would give it to Motion Blue on this one. So awesome stuff. To reiterate, if you missed it earlier in the video, what I was so excited about was that 99% of this image is controlled from your controller. No keyboard required, no command line, no terminal, super easy. And that's why I was so excited about this. And as you see, I was able to set it up in a couple hours, super easy. If you remember, I interviewed David Marty and I was telling him, you know, I've wrote in his comments before, like you've got to do a Motion Blue version 6. All you got to do is add those scripts, update RetroPie, and I know that there would be a demand for this. And as you're seeing now in the community, there's definitely a demand for this. So our prayers have been answered, and here it is. This is what I think. Let me know what you all think, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you all, everyone, for tuning in on the live stream. Again, another video another video uploading soon in a couple hours. David Marty mentioned boot themes, boot times, anything noticeable. Yes, significant update. That was something I hated about Motion Blue version 5, was it took forever to boot. From the first boot to every time you rebooted, things like that. As you saw, the reboot there wasn't like super fast, but it also wasn't that's pretty standard, about, you know, I would say under 40, like around 30 to 45 seconds. Where Motion Blue version 5, sometimes it would take like a full 180, 120 seconds, like 2 full minutes, which is kind of a long time to wait, especially with, you know, that most images do boot up much faster. HyperPie version 2 works great, yeah, especially on a computer, I agree. Thanks Blaze, thanks Joshua for stopping in. Scratch Looper, thanks for stopping in and watching my 321 craft. Be nice to also have had one for going between PC Engine and TurboGrafx CD. Yeah, it would. Thanks Foffers for coming in. Virtual Man, thanks for coming in. Robert, Recall box is now HyperPie 2. Motion Blue is just so blah. Okay, so a lot of people are looking at, so I want to just tell you about the blah. I haven't done it yet, but you could just go in here and change your theme to, like, for example, Magazine Madness, one of my favorite themes. I'm going to change it and show you that Motion Blue isn't blah. You just have to change the themes and it'll look gorgeous. There's so many themes out there. Some of my favorites are Phil's Doodles themes. You know, the comic book theme that he has, also the Space Oddity theme. I really like Magazine Madness. I really like Blue Sterling, and then Box Alloy Red and Blue. There's so many themes out there. You just got to go to Emulation Station Themes, download new themes, install the theme. So here's Magazine Madness. You can't tell me that this doesn't look good. Look at this. So we're still on Motion Blue version 6, but we could still have those bezels, still have those launch screens, still have those video snaps. Everything is working. So as far as like the bling bling, beautiful, Motion Blue has the potential to do all of those things. So keep that in mind. But you're right, with HyperPie version 2, you can't switch between the toggle. The toggle is cool. Yeah, I'm not just trying to throw anybody under the bus. I think it is a hard decision for sure. Steven, if I overclock to 1300, will it affect the speed of the older systems like Atari and make them too fast? No, that's an interesting question. No, it will not. Won't change that at all. Joe loves the bezels. Nice. Hi. Crazy bezel packs, will it apply automatically for each game? Yes, it was. Yes, it will. I don't know if you saw that, but this might not work because I just okay, it's working. So bezel packs. So remember, we changed it to bezel pack 3, but I also installed those optional bezel packs, and so you're going to see here in the Final Burn Alpha collection that each individual game has its own. Look at that, beautiful, right? 1943 has those cool little like those planes and things like that. And then, for example, if we play Aero Fighters, let's check it out. It has its own custom bezel as well. We're going to see in a second. And while we're talking about bezels, it's my understanding that that Dwayne Hurst, alongside David Marty and a few other people, are working for custom bezels for consoles as well. So, for example, if I'm playing Super Nintendo, I might have a different bezel for Super Mario World that I have for Super Mario Kart. Custom bezels like this per game for consoles as well. That's not here yet, but that's to come. And that kind of all started with this, with the arcade. Something really cool about the arcade too, you might notice that those were vertical games, and they had vertical wheels. Where, for example, if I play Street Fighter, I should have a horizontal, a little bit larger of a wheel. Let's see if we get to Street Fighter. ST, Street Fighter Alpha 3. Okay, so let's launch Street Fighter Alpha 3. Check out the bezel really quick. Who else is in the chat? Eric, thanks for stopping by. Ryan, thanks for stopping by. I will show the ROM part in the new video. Detroit Retro Gamer. Drew lives with his wife in his mom's basement. LOL, JK. Yes, I do. In the basement. Exactly. There you go. So I have a custom Street Fighter Alpha 3 bezel, and the bezel expands based on the game. So that's what I was trying to say, that this is the optional bezel. So insert credit to select, and then all of a sudden I'm in Street Fighter Alpha. And as you can see, it's running really good. Bezel's kind of cool to me. I mean, I like it better than Black Space. And then here you go. And then you're fighting. Let's do some. What are her moves here? There we go. Does like a little slap fist. Ooh, cross hand. Come on. Ooh, take that. I threw him to the ground. Now he's getting me. I should have stopped when I was ahead. He's blocking everything. Hold on, I should be able to kill him. Oh, I think he might get me now. He's doing all these lunging things. Got him. One more hit. One more hit. How do you block that? There you go. Boom, knockout, KO. Okay, I'm going to end it there. Thank you all for tuning in. Catch another video shortly of actually setting it all up. It's a long video, step by step. Really cool stuff. As you can see, I love it. Does the Amiga work? Yes, the Amiga works. It's not using the WHD loader. I think it's using the other Amiga loader. If you want to use the WHD loader, you just follow their tutorial and it should work just fine. So you're good. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. Check out my other video on this. Let me know if you have any other questions, and we'll catch you on the next one.